Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Sean Arnold and welcome to another episode for Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Today I want to talk to you about splashable engines. What is an engine and why is it important? Let's put a scenario out first. Recently I've been trying to make a variety of different decks, and often when you're making a deck and you've got a really good idea, you test it out and you think, it's just missing that little something. It's either lacking enough speed or it's lacking some kind of power, and you're really not quite sure of a way to improve it. Well, having engines in your back pocket can be really useful for that scenario. An engine is basically a set of cards which work really well together but aren't really enough to make a full deck. For example, the Stellar Knights, which Revan619 I stole from his channel. The Stellar Knights work really well together. They have a fantastic engine, they search each other out, they support each other, and you can build a whole deck around them. Now there are some cards which do things like this but don't necessarily work as a whole entire deck, and you can just put them into a deck to make it stronger in some way. For this episode, what I'm going to do here is I've got a variety of different cards here which I'm going to be talking about and saying how they are engines. I will be putting the engines into the side deck at the bottom here and highlighting them as I go along, so when I'm talking about a specific engine, just look at the side deck and I'll go through there. But before I do just want to say that I still haven't got all the cards in the game yet. There are many engines in this game, some which are popular which I don't have right now. I don't have Ghostricks, I think they're DLC locked. I don't have any Fire Formation, Tenki cards, which would have been really great to show. I don't have, there was another one, Tour Guide of the Underworld would have been great to show. I think that's probably one of the most well-known engines out there. Unfortunately, I just don't have those cards just yet, but I will be putting all of the engines I'm talking about today in the description of this video. So if you want to see it written down somewhere and go and discover them for yourself, then you can look at the description to find out more. The first engine which I want to show off is probably the most classic engine of all time. It's the reason why these three cards are banned, and that is Sinister Serpent, Graceful Charity, and Pot of Greed. This is one of the most overpowered engines of all time, and when we were allowed to play with it, pretty much if you had all these three cards in your hand, you pretty much won the game there. And what will typically happen is you'll play Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards, play Graceful Charity, draw 3 cards. Now Graceful Charity forces you to discard 2 cards, but if you have Sinister Serpent, you can send him to the graveyard. And what will happen with Sinister Serpent is that if you send him to the graveyard, during your next standby phase, you can get him back into your hand. So rather than basically discarding 2 cards, you would have discarded 1 card or lost 1 card in the long run. It was such a powerful engine. It worked in any deck at all, no matter what deck you had. Everyone was running this engine, and it worked really well, which is why all 3 cards got banned, because it was just so powerful. Let me just do the math here. This is a plus, Pot of Greed is a +1 card. Graceful Charity would have ended up as a break-even card, I believe. You lose 3 cards, you lose 2 cards, but you gain 3 cards, so that's +1, and then Sinister Serpent helps that. It just gives you so much advantage. But we're not going to talk about those anymore because they're banned, so let's look at some of the ones which are more available to us. Now, the idea behind what makes an engine work is that the cards themselves work well on their own, no matter how or what point you are in the game, and if you can fit them into your deck, they should help your deck in the long run. The first one which I wanted to talk about is an old engine, but I think it's still good in this day and age, and it's the Apprentice Magician engine. Apprentice Magician is a level 2 spellcaster. You ideally place her face down on the field, and the first effect is kind of negligible, which adds a spell count, but the second effect is important. The second effect is that when this card is destroyed by battle, it doesn't have to be sent to the graveyard, which is important, just destroyed by battle. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower spellcaster type monster from your deck in face down defense position. And there are some fantastic targets for this engine. You can get Magician of Faith, which will allow you to flip her up on the next turn, or if she's attacked, and that will get you back any spell card from your graveyard. Really powerful combo there. Magical Undertaker works really well if you want to revive a monster. You can flip it up and you can target 1 level 4 or lower spellcaster type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you've got your spell recovery, you've got your monster recovery, like a Call of the Haunted there, and you also can go into something like Copycat, which Copycat, when he's summoned by any means, you target 1 face-up monster in the field, and it copies the attack and defense. So you can get out a beat stick if you want to. If your opponent has a really strong monster, you can copy it and also have a really strong monster. And there is one monster which I am missing from this unit, and it's called Old Vindictive Magician. Old Vindictive Magician is, if you've seen Man-Eater Bug, Man-Eater Bug is a very popular card. Let me just type in Man-Eater, where are you? Go to M. Old Vindictive Magician is basically the same as Man-Eater Bug. You flip him face up. Where is M? There it is. He's pretty much the same as Man-Eater Bug, but he's a spellcaster. You flip him face up and you target one monster in the field and you get to destroy it. A really great engine, this one. I would recommend it if you can run it in a deck with lots of tribute monsters, maybe like a Monarch deck, where you can flip the monster card face up, get its effect, and then tribute it off for something stronger. Works really well for that. So any deck which really runs like high level monsters would benefit from something like this here. Okay, so the second engine which I'm going to talk about now is the Destiny Hero engine. You may have seen this before in my Diamond Dude, or my Destiny Hero deck. I didn't actually get to do my Diamond Dude Turbo deck, did I, in the end? This is really simple. You have 3 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious, 3 copies of Destiny Hero Diamond Dude, 3 copies of Destiny Draw. This is a speed engine. It's all about adding field presence to your deck and adding speed to your deck. The main card in this engine is Destiny Draw, where you discard 1 Destiny Hero monster and draw 2 cards. So if you've got a deck which is kind of slow and you could benefit from a bit of extra drawing power, this might work for you. Destiny Hero Diamond Dude is the weakest part of the engine. He's the best Destiny Hero target in my opinion, but he's still pretty weak in my opinion. He's a level 4 warrior monster. He has a goodish effect where you can look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a normal spell, you can send it to the graveyard and activate it for free in the next turn. So if you manage to top a Destiny Draw, you get to do Destiny Draw for free without discarding. So he can kind of work with that, but he's not really the main attraction here. But the fact that he's a level 4 allows you to use him for some rank 4 plays, which can be useful. The main card for here is Destiny Hero Malicious along with Destiny Draw. Ideally you want to play Destiny Draw, discard Malicious, and Malicious effect allows you to banish him from the graveyard in order to special summon another copy of Malicious from your deck. This works really well in any deck which needs field presence for tributing monsters. You could put Malicious on the field and then play a tuner monster in order to get synchro summon, or if you manage to do another level 6 monster, then maybe you can even do a rank 6 monster. So really great, just as adding more field presence and adding more fodder for tribute monsters, synchro monsters, even ritual monsters, and XE monsters. So give it a try. A really great speed engine, was really popular back in the day, but has kind of fallen out of fame now. If you want another deck which adds more speed to your, or another engine which adds more speed to your deck, is one of my favorites, which I'm gonna debut sometime soon in the deck when I can get around to doing so, and that's my Sacred Crane engine. In this engine, I would normally run 2 copies of Summon a Monk, 2 copies of Sacred Crane, and 1 copy of Call of the 3 copies of Call of the Haunted. Call of the Haunted, everyone should be familiar with by now. It revives a monster from the graveyard. Summon a Monk is a really great monster too. You discard 1 spell card, and you get to summon 1 level 4 monster from your deck. And ideally, you would go out for Sacred Crane, who is a fantastic monster in that when she is special summoned, you get to draw 1 card. And that really is by any means. You could even go with, let's look at Goblin the Berg. You could also add that to your engine, although I don't think he is as necessary as the other 2. Ideally, I would open with Summon a Monk, discard a spell card, get Sacred Crane out, draw a card, play a rank 4 into an XE. Let's just get any rank 4 out. Let's clear the filters. Give me a rank 4 please. Let's say I play into Cain Gorgon. Do a rank 4, summon into Cain Gorgon, send Summon a Monk and Sacred Crane to the graveyard, then bring back Sacred Crane and draw again. And as long as you keep on bringing her out through any special summoning means, you can just keep on drawing from your deck. Really solid engine. It fits well into any deck. I think if you are running Chaos monsters, this will work well. The only thing you need to consider with this deck is that you might need to use up your normal summon for it. So you need to use up your normal summon for Summon a Monk, or if you wanted to do Goblin the Berg to get her out of your hand, then you could do so. I would recommend at the minimum running 2 Sacred Cranes when you although you only really need the one. But just in case your opponent plays Bottomless Trap Hole, then you might need to just have another one to back up, just in case. But I think this is a solid engine. It's really versatile, really easy to use, and it's great for adding speed to your deck. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Gravekeeper engine. Now this one is an interesting engine. It can vary in its size. This is it at its maximum, I feel, and there is 3 copies of Recruiter, 3 copies of Spy, 1 copy of Descendant, and 2 copies of Stale. I will go through what these cards do just in case someone doesn't know. The first of these cards is Gravekeeper's Recruiter. When this card you control is sent to your graveyard, add 1 Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less, 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. He will ideally search out himself and just keep on searching himself out to thin out your deck and make your deck smaller, which will increase the chance of you getting better cards. Or you can search out Descendant, which you can then summon and tribute another Gravekeeper's monster in order to destroy a target. The main monster for this engine is Gravekeeper Spy, 1200 attack but 2000 defense monster with a fantastic flip effect. When it's flipped up, you get to special summon 1 Gravekeeper's monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. You can special summon this Recruiter if you want to. You can special summon Descendant if you want to destroy something. Works really well together. Or you could just special summon another Spy if you just want to turn it into a rank 4 monster, or tribute it off for, say, a Monarch. This is a solid engine in my opinion. I think it works really well together. It's what keeps most Gravekeepers decks together, and also you can recycle the cards with Gravekeeper Stale, which lets you get 2 Gravekeepers monsters from your graveyard, and it works just well together. You don't have to run all of these cards. If you just wanted to do, say, 3 copies of Descendant and 3 copies of Spy and 1 copy of Descendant, then you could just do that. I am doing that currently in my my Magician deck. I'm using this engine here, and it works well for me there. Yeah, no, just it's really just about your creativity and what it needs to fill your deck. If you need a deck which needs more field presence and more tribute fodder, then this Gravekeeper engine works well for you. Could work well for you. We're getting to the last 2 now that I'm going to show off. The first is the Traptrix engine. Now I'm going to admit this is an engine which I have yet to try out personally, but I am very excited to do so. I'm going to be making a video on the Traptrix monsters very soon. And it goes as follows. Let me just get out one more monster. I'm missing Dione here. Let me put her on the side. Now the Traptrix engine usually goes as follows. You have 3 copies of Traptrix Murmillo, 2 copies of Dione, and then 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole, and any number about 3 to 4 Trap Hole cards that you want. This is how it works. With Traptrix Murmillo, you put her on the field, you normal summon her, and you get to search out 1 Trap Hole card from your deck. The options are as follows. If I just sort my filters out, we've got regular Trap Hole, we've got Chaos Trap Hole, DD Trap Hole. We've got loads of Trap Holes here. In fact, where's the one I'm looking for? Void. You've got a variety of different ones here. You can search out any of these cards from your deck and then put them down, which can set up a trap for your opponent on the next turn. But the ones which I think are the best ones to use are obviously Bottomless Trap Hole. There's a reason why it's limited. Chaos Trap Hole could be good if you are playing a match and you want to side deck this against, say, a Stellar Knight deck. Can be really great for that, but it is very expensive to use. You got DD Trap Hole, which is for which you use against a monster that is set. Not really popular in this day and age. Not many people set monsters. Deep Dark Trap Hole. A lot of people say this is good, but I'm not a really fan of it. It's when a level 5 or higher effect monster is special summoned, you get to banish it. Giant Trap Hole is when 2 or more monsters are special summoned at the same time, destroy all monsters on the field. This is kind of like Torrential Tribute if you're playing against a Pendulum deck, like what are they called? Wow, I've got Clifforts. This could be good to counter them. You know, again, it can be situational, so I might not run this in my main deck. Time Space Trap Hole is really good. When your opponent special summons a monster from the hand or extra deck, shuffle that monster into the deck, then you lose 1000 life points. This is one of the most versatile ones because it's just when an opponent special summons a monster, and from the hand or deck is quite common, so you could use it quite frequently. Trap Hole is the basic Trap Hole, where it responds to a normal summon. with a monster of 1000 or more attack. And then you got Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, which is responds to a special summon, and you get to negate the effect and destroy a card. And Void Trap Hole is also useful if the monster special summon has 2000 or more attack. I would normally recommend going with in your main deck having maybe 1 copy of Battleman's Trap Hole, and then either 2 copies of Time Space Trap Hole and 2 copies of Traptrix, or 3 to 1, or whatever you want your ratio to be. I would normally go with something like this for a Traptrix deck, and then yeah, you get a monster which is fairly decent stats, a level 4 monster, plus you get to search out a back row card, and yeah, it works really well at filling your deck and getting yourself some monster removal or some destruction. You can also use Dione. Dione recovers these trap hole cards from your graveyard. Sorry, let me just check something out. Murmurlo's first effect allows you to search out the trap hole card. Her second effect is that if she is special summoned, you get to destroy a spell or trap card on the field, which can be really easy to do with, say, Call of the Haunted. And Dione is that when she is normal summoned, you get to take 1 trap hole card from your graveyard and set it to your field. But if you don't use it with it by the end of your opponent's next turn, you have to banish it. Great at recovering these lost cards and recycling them and destroying more of your opponent's monsters. And when this card is special summoned, oh sorry, that's when it's special summoned. When it's normal summoned, you get to special summon a Traptrix monster from your graveyard. So you can play Dione, special summon Murmurlo, destroy a spell or trap card, and yeah, it's just a really great unit of recycling monster destruction cards. So if you feel like you need more monster removal cards, spell and trap removal cards in your deck, this can work really well for that. And the last one which I'm going to talk about here, actually no, I've got 2 more, my apologies. I've got my Ninja. Ninjas work really well. Ninja's units are it's very simple and easy to use, but it works as follows. You have Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. You normal summon him and you get to search out 1 card which has ninjutsu art in its name. The best target I think is ninjutsu art of Super Transformation. And what ninjutsu art of Super Transformation does is that you can target 1 ninja on your field and 1 face up monster your opponent controls, then send them both to the graveyard to special summon a dragon, sea serpent, or dinosaur monster from your deck. In my opinion, the best target for this is White Dragon Ninja. So what I would normally do is I would play down Hanzo, set ninjutsu art Super Transformation, and if my opponent plays a monster which has level 3 or higher, I would use ninjutsu art Super Transformation to send them both to the graveyard and special summon White Dragon Ninja, who has a good effect in that it protects all your spell and trap cards and they can't be destroyed by card effects. It's really easy to use, really simple, great removal, great for taking away any of your opponent monsters. The only downside to this is that it doesn't work on XE monsters because they don't have levels, and you've got to make sure your opponent has a monster which is level 3 or higher in order to get White Dragon Ninja. Although you don't have to use White Dragon Ninja, you can use any dragon, any dinosaur, any sea serpent monster that you think works well with this. The only reason why I choose White Dragon Ninja is because you could also use White Dragon Ninja with ninjutsu art of Super Transformation. So if you went to get rid of this card again, you could and get rid of another one of your opponent's monsters, you could just use it again to summon out another dragon, dinosaur, or sea serpent monster. There are other ways to do this. You could use any other ninja card really, and you could even build a deck around doing all of this. But as an engine itself, the ninja engine kind of works well if you... Oops, I'm still unlocked onto ranks. You can use any ninja cards really to work with this, but I think Grandmaster Hanzo is the best target for it because he searches out your deck and searches out some removal and then gets you a beat stick in the long run. So if you need a bit extra damage, need some removal and need some extra speed for your deck, Hanzo can do this. And the last engine which I'm going to talk about are artifacts. This has gone longer than I thought, but thank you for bearing me. We've got artifacts. Artifacts are really great. I think it's probably the best engine we have here, and they're really simple to use. Artifacts are a group of monsters which are all level 5 fairy monsters. They're all of the light type, and they have a unique effect in that they can be set from your hand to your spell trap zone. if they get destroyed while in your spell trap zone, they normally have a good effect. Now, the best ones I think are Morale Tech and Scythe, although there are many other artifacts you can possibly use. There's also one called Begale Tech, which I don't have yet, but I'm still hunting for. And I like Morale Tech because Morale Tech says as follows: if this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn, when this set card in the spell trap card zone is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, special summon it. If it is special summoned during your opponent's turn, destroy one card. Now, Morale Tech is really great because you can be special summoned through any effect as long as it isn't during your opponent's turn, and you can destroy one face-up card. And I'm going to talk about a good way to do that later on. Scythe is also really good in that if it is special summoned during your opponent's turn, for that turn your opponent cannot special summon from their extra deck. So if you want to shut down a big play from a Clifford deck, a rank deck, or a synchro deck, then this can be really useful for that. The best card for getting these artifacts out is Artifact Sanctum. Artifact Sanctum works as follows: you special summon one artifact monster from your deck. Simple. You just special summon one monster from your deck and that works. Ideally, you put this card face down and special summon either Morale Tech, Scythe, or any other artifact monster during your opponent's turn in order to trigger their effect. What's also great about this is if this card is destroyed, you get to destroy one card on the field. So if your opponent tries to destroy your Sanctum, then you get to destroy a card of theirs. So what I would like to do with this is I would normally like to play Sanctum down on my first turn, put it down, hope my opponent plays MST. If they do, chain it, special summon Morale Tech. Morale Tech's effect will get triggered after the chain, but by the end of the chain, because Sanctum's being destroyed, you then get to destroy one card by Sanctum's effect and then one card by Morale Tech's effect. So you get to destroy two cards for the cost of their MST. It's a really good move. It's really versatile. Adds a lot of versatility to a lot of decks. It thins out your deck. It speeds it up. It shuts down big plays. It's a really solid engine to use, and I'm experimenting with it right now. So that's it, guys. Been a long video there about talking about engines, but I hope this has been helpful to some of you. I wanted to talk about it because it's been on my mind recently, but I've been waiting to get more cards to talk about it. And just take the time to build some engines in your spare time, and having them in your back pocket can really be helpful towards deck building and just filling the gaps in the decks when you feel like they have certain holes missing. So anyway, hopefully this has been useful. If you have any engines of your own to share, please do so in the comments down below. And as always, thank you for watching. Much love, take care, and goodbye.